Hey guys, how's it going? It's a beautiful Friday morning here, and we are actually taking a little weekend trip to Prague. I have Monday off because it's a holiday, so we thought we'd take a nice little 4-day weekend and see what Prague has to offer. So we're taking the train out of Munich all the way to Prague. It's about a 5.5 hour ride, but it's a direct train ride, so that's nice. So we'll take you guys along and see what we can see. All right, we made it to the station. Now we're just waiting for our train. Though the train ride took about 6 hours, time passed very quickly, and before we knew it, we were pulling into the Prague main train station. Alright, well, we made it to Prague after our 5.5 hour train ride from Munich this morning. We also made it to our hotel. It was about a 20-minute walk from the train station, which is actually pretty nice. It's a really old building right in the center of Prague. I mean, we're a few steps away literally from the river and that super old bridge with that amazing tower. And then we're about 10 minutes away from the town square. So we are right in the heart of it. It's a nice little hotel. We'll do a review on this hotel, and you can check that out in our next video. So I think we're just going to lay low this evening. We have dinner reservations a little bit down the road. We do have to go get cash because that's something that we completely overlooked, is the fact that they don't use euros here. So we will have to convert some money, probably not too much because things are pretty cheap here. And we're able to use credit cards and our debit cards, but we do have to go get some Czech crowns. So that'll be an adventure in itself. After getting absolutely destroyed by a currency conversion on an ATM, we made our way down to restaurant Stolety for dinner. We both decided that we would have some Prague specialties tonight, including pork loin and this restaurant's take on goulash. We ended the night with an ice cold beer and a walk along the river. Tomorrow, we would be going up to the Prague Castle. The next morning, we made our way up the seemingly endless stairs up to the Prague Castle. This castle sits high upon a hill and is still currently the seat of the President of the Czech Republic. Because much of the Czech government still sits here, security is tight. There are armed guards at every entrance, as well as an honor guard at the two main entrances in the front and the side of the castle. We had to wait about 30 minutes to get through security. And then we had to wait in line another 20 minutes to buy our ticket. Unless you are part of a guided tour, you have to buy your ticket on site, and you can't buy it online. Okay guys, we made it up the hill and we are now in the Prague Castle. So this castle is actually a complex of several buildings and a couple cathedrals and things like that. So, as well as a couple of museums. So we bought a ticket that allows us into 4 of them. And so we'll show you guys what those are all about. But so far it's pretty cool up here.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, long way up, but it's worth it. The ticket we purchased was called the Prague Castle Circuit Ticket. This ticket gets you into the main 4 attractions up on the hill, including the St. Vitus Cathedral, St. George's Basilica, the Old Royal Palace, and the Golden Lane. Our first stop was the St. Vitus Cathedral. This massive cathedral can be seen from nearly every point in Prague. It towers over the landscape and is very spectacular to behold up close. The original church here was built in the 10th century, being replaced by this Gothic cathedral much later. Intricate carvings and sculptures adorn the building on all sides, and the inside of this cathedral is no less impressive. This cathedral has been the site of royal ceremonies and coronations over the past several centuries, and you can see by walking through the cathedral that it lives up to these regal standards. As well as being a place of worship and royal business, the cathedral is also the resting place for several of Prague's departed kings and queens, as well as Prague's past patron saints. St. Vitus, the namesake of the cathedral, is also buried below its walls. Our next stop was the Old Royal Palace, located directly next to the St. Vitus Cathedral. We entered into the Great Diet Hall, a meeting and entertaining room. The original palace here was built at the turn of the 9th century. The current building is the result of additions and reconstructions in the Romanesque architectural style. Much of this building was rebuilt after a major fire in 1541. The Great Diet Room is attached to the Vladislav Hall. The Vladislav Hall served mainly as a royal state room. Now there are replicas of the crown jewels of the Czech Republic on display here. After the Old Royal Palace, we felt the need to refresh ourselves at the Castle Cafe. Well, we took a look at the cathedral and the old palace, and now we decided it was time to stop for a drink before we head on over to the Golden Lane. Next to the cafe was the third attraction we wanted to see in the castle, St. George's Basilica. The basilica was built around the same time as the original church where St. Vitus is now, making St. George's the second oldest church in the city. You can still see from the outside and walls of this church that it is extremely old. Inside, we found the Romanesque architecture that was popular at the time, as well as a much simpler aesthetic than that of St. Vitus. Inside St. George's Basilica, you can also find the crypt and tombs of several members of the royal families of the past, including St. Wenceslaus's father, Vratislav. From this austere church, we made our way to the Golden Lane, a street of houses used by servants, smiths, maids, and other members of the castle staff. These houses were actually lived in up until World War II. In fact, even the famed writer Franz Kafka lived here for a short while during World War I. Now the houses are staged to look like different types of workers' homes. This lane is extremely quaint and well worth the visit. After paying a visit to the Golden Lane, we took a trip outside the castle walls to the Stag Moat. At one point, this moat was completely barren and protected the north face of the castle from attack. The moat itself is huge, and it really felt like we were looking at a castle from the past. On the other side of this moat from the castle sits the current president of the Czech Republic's residence, as well as some additional gardens. Alright, well, I think we've seen what we can see up here at the castle, so now we're going to head back down the hill, which will be a lot easier than coming up.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, walk downhill, and then we're actually going to go over to a park where there's a large lookout tower where we should be able to see a lot of Prague, so that should be pretty cool. After spending a better part of the day at the Prague Castle, we decided it was time to take the long walk back down the old castle stairs to our next adventure. Be sure to check out our next video and see what else we did in Prague. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.